I am East Baltimore. I was born and raised in East Baltimore at 928 East North Avenue, right where we're located today. And my parents had established a funeral parlor, which was a three-story row house. And I grew up in a very unique environment as a child. Um, this row house simply had a parlor downstairs, and we lived on the second and third floor. And it was a small mom and pop operation that was very, very welcomed and part of the community. Um, on Sundays, I can remember as a child just the community, people walking through just to see who was in the funeral home. And as children, I have three other siblings. We all worked in the funeral home from the time we were in middle school all the way up through college and eventually returned to the business. So East Baltimore has been a part of our lives all of our existence. We also have established businesses in East Baltimore here. We're grounded and rooted right here in East Baltimore. My parents were involved in the community. You know, back during that time, everybody knew everybody. In fact, most of the generation that came from was in my parents' generation either went to Dunbar or Douglas High School because they were the only African American schools that they could attend. And Dunbar was right here in East Baltimore. So I would say probably 50% of Baltimore or more graduated. In fact, more than that, because Dunbar High School was ninth and 10th and Douglas was 11th and 12th grade. So everybody came through Dunbar High School. And the primary jobs that people got during that time were either Bethlehem Steel or the Postal Service, or they were teachers during that time period. And so everybody knew everybody. My father worked for 30 years at the post office downtown. And so having a business also in East Baltimore, this little small mom and pop funeral home, everybody knew my parents. And the churches were all very connected and familiar with each other. Everybody knew everybody. My parents, were always involved in the social and community concerns and efforts. They would support the churches and all of their events. The Urban League. In fact, my father was also one of the co-founders of Harbor Bank of Maryland. They were African Americans as a people in this community. They stuck together, they supported one another, they looked out for each other. Here in East Baltimore, I grew up where there were homeowners on Cecil Avenue. And, we all looked out for each other. Every neighbor was my parent and guardian. I remember myself and all of my friends on Saturday mornings, we would be out with Ajax and a bucket of water, scrubbing the white marble steps and then shining them and buffing them and even bragging about who had the whitest steps. We took so much pride in our neighborhoods, and there were situations, in where there was domestic violence going on in some of the homes that we knew about, or Mr. Joe who came home and got drunk on the weekends, sitting out on the steps. We knew all the different dynamics of the families, but people still respected each other and looked out for each other. 2006, our matriarch passed away, Julia Roberta March, who was really the icon of compassion. She was the heart of the March family business. My family and I had to make a decision, my siblings and I had to make a decision what to do with this property that was once a funeral home on the corner of North and Cecil. And I said, let's make it a bereavement center. Let's establish a nonprofit and build it into a bereavement center. And I had the full support of my family because they had seen all of the work and the people who were coming to these support groups over the years. So we decided this was going to be our mission and vision together. And that started the first journey.